To the Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor, who joins me from the town of Bynalong in country New South Wales. Angus Taylor, thanks for your time. I know you're out on the road for the Polly Pedal, the last day of that. I'll get to that in a moment. But first of all, do you welcome this news this morning from Andrew Clennell that the government's stage 3 tax cuts look set to proceed as planned?
Well, I welcome the news, Kieran, but we do need to see Anthony Albanese ruling out dropping the tax cuts. I mean, dropping these tax cuts or doing what they've been talking about over the last couple of weeks would be, make no mistake about it, a war on aspiration. This is about middle Australia making sure they can earn or keep more of what they earn, making sure that those hard-working Australians don't suffer from bracket creep. We're seeing extraordinary inflationary pressures right now, and we know with inflation, the average Australian pays a higher rate of tax. And so these tax reforms were designed very carefully to make sure that there was incentive for Australians to get out there, to have a crack, that middle income earners would be able to keep more of what they earned. And we want to see those proceed. Now, the truth of the matter, they've been legislated. Labor committed alongside us before the last election not to drop these stage 3 tax cuts. And yet we've seen for weeks now this debate running, and Anthony Albanese has refused to rule out dropping the tax cuts.
It looks like the political reality of that broken promise, potential broken promise, has hit home, as we've reported though, and it's now extremely unlikely that there will be any change to stage 3. So again, that is encouraging this morning, isn't it?
Well, it's encouraging that I hear that, Kieran, but it doesn't count until Anthony Albanese has stood up and ruled him out. I mean, he's been missing in action on this issue for some time now. He's been allowing it to run. Look, it's very clear. It's in Labor's DNA to tax Australians more. It really is. It always has been. We've had fight after fight. Since I came into politics in 2013, we've seen again and again Labor wanting to tax Australians more and us saying to the Australian people, no, we're going to an election with lower taxes. Now they're at it again. What's worse this time is it's after them closing down any differentiation with us on taxes, and yet only a couple of months later they're at it again talking about higher taxes. Now, I have no doubt whether they drop the stage 3 tax cuts or not, they will keep considering options to tax Australians more, because that's what Labor likes to do. They like to spend your money and they like to tax you more as a result. And so I'm sure this debate will be going for some time, Kieran, whether they drop the stage 3 tax cuts or not. This is going to be an ongoing debate because we know where Labor's heart is. It's always about taxing people more.
You use that term, a war on aspiration. The Tax Office data released today shows that in terms of stage 3, it either hits wealthy seats or what would be potentially described as aspirational seats. I think that's what you're alluding to, places like Gellibrand or in Melbourne, Greenway in Sydney.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, Greenway's a good example. Macarthur, my own seat, is right up there as well. It's not a wealthy seat. And, you know, here I am in country New South Wales. They are working hard to get off one of the most expensive crops in history, probably the most expensive crop in history. They're going to have a good season if they do that, but not every season is good. So their incomes go up for a year and then they come back down again. We need to make sure that Australians can keep more of what they earn. This is middle Australia. Now, you know, a good example of this is with these tax cuts, a hairdresser earning $60,000 will be $400 better off. But Anthony Albanese has failed to rule out dropping these tax cuts. We do need to see Labor locking in, keeping commitments they made before the election. It's absolutely essential.
Do you accept, though, that there is a significant structural problem with the budget in terms of a structural deficit with the climbing expenditure in defence, NDIS, aged care?
Well, there will be if Labor can't manage their finances. There's no doubt about that. I mean, but we did manage it.
But there was before the election, wasn't there?
They have inherited... Well, let's be clear about this. We got the budget to balance in 2019, and since November last year, the budget has been back in balance. That's the truth. Labor has inherited an extraordinarily strong budget position. From the moment New South Wales and Victoria reopened their economies, we saw the budget coming into balance. Very significant surplus in May, a surplus again in June. We have seen extraordinary strength in the economy, extraordinary strength in the budget, unexpected. I mean, this is what's changed. Labor keeps talking about how things have changed. Well, I tell you how they've changed, Kieran. The budget is much stronger than anyone could have expected. And the economy is much stronger than anyone could have expected. Now, the key right now in the short term is to relieve some of those inflationary and interest rate pressures that are really going to hit Australians as we approach Christmas. And then in the medium to longer term, make sure we have pro-growth policies to keep this strong growth going. The best pro-growth policy of all is to have lower taxes.
Those items like defence, like aged care, NDIS, all those ballooning costs, do you pay for it all just from growth?
But we did do it. I mean, this is not theoretical. We did do it. Between 2013 and 2019, we got the budget back into balance and we saw strong investment in those critical government services in health, in disability, of course, as the disability, the NDIS ramped up. We did exactly that. Now, the key to that, Kieran, is have a strong economy, strong incentives for Australia to get out there and have a go. To make a buck, and then they pay more tax. That's how it works. And so the strength of the economy is the key. Now, we've seen that since November last year, when the economies, as I said, Victoria and New South Wales opened up. We saw extraordinary growth in the economy and growth in incomes, and income tax payments went up, and the budget has come back into balance. That's how it works. So we keep seeing this. Labor, on the other hand, has a philosophy that says, look, we've just got to tax you more. We've just got to tax you more. It's just absolutely in their DNA. They just can't help themselves, Kieran. Well, we're going to fight them on this every day from now until the next election if they keep coming back to looking at how they can tax Australians more.